Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. This is going to be a book haul of all the books that I've collected over the Black Friday Cyber Monday sale. I have quite a large stack. You can see it comes up to here. That's the top book and I'm like sitting down, so it's like about the size of my torso. It'll be in the thumbnail. But a lot of the shopping that I did over this weekend, the like Black Friday weekend, was either at thrift books or at our local thrift store. So I got a lot of books. Very few of these are new. That is part of why there are so many of them. A lot of these came from one single thrift shopping trip at our local DI, and so I just had really good luck that time. So I just grabbed a bunch. These are some of them for videos before the end of the year. Some of these will be like the beginning of next year, and then some of them are just I picked them up because I saw a good copy and I might as well. Starting with a video that will be coming hopefully very soon, if not before this. I am reading The Hunger Games for the first time. My husband already had book 1, but he had book 2 and 3 as hardbacks, and the first one was paperback, and that was just really gonna bug me. So we ended up just giving his sister the 2 hardbacks, we kept the paperback, and then I got book 2 and 3 in paperback. So that is Catching Fire and Mockingjay, just to complete our series off. And then I also went ahead and ordered the new one, the prequel, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, in the paperback, which I like the green. I know the purple is supposedly like the Barnes & Noble special edition, but I think it looks way uglier. So I wanted the green and I wanted a paperback. I couldn't find it in stores in the green paperback anywhere. They had like the green hardback and they had the purple paperback at Barnes & Noble, but they didn't have the green paperback except for in the box sets, and I only needed this one. So I ended up just ordering it online, and I got it just today actually. So I really think this cover is super cool with the green and the gold. So excited to add these to my shelf. Again, reading vlog coming very soon if it's not already out for these books. I am reading them for the first time. So I don't want to say too much just because there is a video coming on these soon. But that is the Hunger Games series. Then the next ones that I got, I found these at DI at the thrift store. And these are 2 of the books in the Endersverse series, universe. I've been reading Ender's Game, like the actual Ender's Game saga, the main books. I've gotten the first 3 read. So I've read Ender's Game, Speaker for the Dead, and Xenocide. And I've got either 1 or 2 more. I'm a little confused on what all is part of the original series. But these 2 books are part of a, I would say prequel. It's more of like a co-timeline with those ones. Basically, between Ender's Game and Speaker for the Dead, there's kind of a big time jump that you take. And so these books are part of the series that fills in that time gap, following one of the other characters in the book. And so that's what these 2 are. It is Shadow Puppets and Shadow of the Hegemon. I don't know if I'm saying that right. And these are by Orson Scott Card. I'm not entirely sure which one goes first of these 2. I know that neither of these is the actual first one. Okay, I think this one comes first. So I think what I'm missing is Ender's Shadow, and then this one comes after Ender's Shadow, and then this one potentially comes after this one. But I definitely need to find Ender's Shadow before I can read these 2. I think this might be the next series that I read out of the Ender's Verse. But I thought I'd grab them while I saw them. I've just been getting the mass market paperbacks of them, so they're all kind of matching. The covers don't match a ton, but they're all at least the same size. So I thought while I saw them for super cheap, they were like $1 each. So I thought I'd grab them in preparation because I would like to read all the books in the Ender's Verse. The next one is for a video that I'm doing reading Southeast Asian authors, which will hopefully be up before the end of the year. But this is The God of Small Things. I got this one from Thrift Books. I don't really know a ton about this book. It's by an Indian author. I think it's just like general literary fiction, which are always so hard to describe the plots. Even after reading the back, I'm honestly not sure, but I do think this cover is really pretty. I like photography covers where they have just like a pretty photo. So that's that one. I don't really have a ton to say on this one. It's for a video, so there will be more details hopefully coming before the end of the year on this book, so look out for that. And then one of the other few new ones that I got was Hercule Poirot's Christmas Obviously I want to read this one at Christmas time, and I like having all the matching spines. This one doesn't really line up, but it's got a similar vibe, I guess. Hopefully it'll still look good with the rest of them. But this one, basically, I don't even really read the back. I just know that obviously there's a murder, Hercule Poirot comes in to solve it, and it lines up with Christmas. This one actually has dates instead of like sections. So that one will be fun. I'm hoping to read this one by the end of this year, so it will probably be in my 2023 recap of all the books that I read this year. But that one's Hercule Poirot's Christmas. Then another one from Thrift Books. This is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This book is so popular, I don't feel like I really need to introduce what it is, but I wanted to start collecting this series. I'm hoping to maybe get all of them before I start reading this one, so this one's not coming up for a while. But I saw it on sale, thought I'd grab it. Basically, this one's about a girl in high school who decides to go and solve a cold case for her like senior project, is what I've gathered, and then she basically becomes a detective trying to figure out what happened in this murder in her town. I've heard a lot of people rave about it. I like YA mysteries, so I think this will be a really good one. I didn't end up getting the other two. They didn't have good options for them at Thrift Books, but I'll probably be keeping my eye out for them. Once I've managed to gather the other two, then I'll probably start reading it. So it might be a ways into next year, but it's now on the list on the shelf. Then the next two books are actually more so my husband's purchases, but I'll probably read them at some point. These are part of the Alcatraz versus the Evil Librarian series by Brandon Sanderson. This is his like middle grade, I guess is that would be considered, middle grade series. We already had the first one. Him and my younger brother have been reading these, and so this is book 2 and 3. Let's see, which one's book 2? This one's book 2. So the Scrivener's Bones is book 2, and then book 3 is The Knights of Crystalia, something like that. They've got like very superhero Star Wars cover or movie poster covers. I don't really know a ton. I haven't actually read the first book, so I'll just wrap it up on that, but that's those two. I might read those at some point, we'll see. They'll be nice cleanser books. And then also a book that I've been getting mostly to make my younger brothers read are the How to Train Your Dragon series. This one's book 2. It's How to Be a Pirate. This is one of my favorite ones from when I was a kid, I think, if I remember correctly. So I found book 1 at a thrift store recently, and then this one I got off of Thrift Books, so I'll probably still be keeping my eye out for the rest of them. But I don't really know that this needs much introduction. It's basically just How to Train Your Dragon pirate version. Then the next one, also from Thrift Books, is The Death Cure. I found book 1 and 2 in the Maze Runner series at a thrift store the other day, but it just didn't have book 3, or not the other day, like a while ago. And it was just missing book 3, so I finally bought this one off Thrift Books so that I have the whole trilogy. I think I'd like to do a video sometime in like the first half of next year reading these books. I do think I'd really like them. They're like YA sci-fi is the vibe I've gotten. I don't really know a ton about the details of this one, and I know there's a few like spin-offs or prequel books or something like that. I've been a little confused. The box set always comes with another one. The Kill Order, I think that's the one that always comes with the box set with it. So we'll see what I think of the original trilogy before I go and buy any of those. But this one will be an interesting one. Again, another video that I'd like to film is reading this trilogy for the first time. Alright, and then the next few are ones that I found at the thrift store that I don't necessarily have plans on reading anytime super soon, but when I saw them, they're like $1 each at our thrift store. It's super cheap, so I thought I'd grab them because they were ones that I'd like to have copies of and will probably read at some point. So I just wanted them on my shelf while I found them for cheap, but I don't necessarily plan on reading them super soon. The first one is Number the Stars by Lois Lowry. This one I've read several times, which is why it's not on the list to read super soon, because it would be another reread. But I didn't have a copy of it and I wanted it, and this cover specifically looks really good with the ones that I have of The Giver. They're back behind me, but I think that this will look good on the shelf with them. It's a little bit tinier, but it matches the like muted color scheme that the Giver series has. So I thought this would be a good copy to have. It's also in super good condition. But if you don't know what Number the Stars is, this is basically a World War II historical fiction. I think it's historical fiction. About this Jewish family. I'm trying to remember, it's been a while since I've read it. I think you're following the Jewish family who are basically being hidden by their neighbors. And you're specifically following one girl as she basically tries to survive World War II. So it's a little bit heavier, but it's also like written in a way that it's not so crazy. It's a very accessible book. It's also quite skinny. We read it, I think I read it for the first time in 5th grade, like as a class. So it's definitely targeted more towards younger ages, so it's not like super graphic or heavy, but it obviously is still a World War II book. That's Number of the Stars by Lois Lowry. She's up there in my favorite authors. I've read this one, I've read the whole Giver series, so I love to find some of her other books that are maybe less common and try reading some of those. And then the next one is Dracula. This one I will probably save for next Halloween, but again, saw it for cheap, thought I'd grab it. And I do think that this version of it is really cool. It's like got the castle on it, but this needs no introduction, vampire story. It's a classic. I have this one. I also have Frankenstein on my shelf that I meant to read this year, but didn't get around to reading it, so I'll probably try and read both of those next October for like Halloween season. And I do love vampires, but not like newer age vampires, so I love to read more like classic about vampires, and hopefully it's more the vibe that I'm looking for. Then, the next one that I found is the bind up of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass. And this one is one of the Barnes & Noble Classic editions, which I think are so cool. I've been trying to collect as many as I can. I love that they have just basically like art on the front. And then they all have this cool color scheme and they look really good. So I've got my Antonia, something like that. I haven't read that one. The Picture of Dorian Gray and Frankenstein all in this edition. And so now I got this one to add. And I really love the green. I've never actually read the story of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, I don't think. And I've definitely never read Through the Looking Glass. So this is another one, just when I'm feeling like a classic. This could also be a really fun book for like spring, I feel like. So might pick that one up then, but that's that one. And then this one is another one that I loved as a kid that I saw. I've been seeing at lots of secondhand stores as we've been going to them over the last year, and I finally decided to just get it. I loved these series growing up. This is one where I saw the cover and I immediately had a bunch of memories of different scenes and stuff from this book and just the overall vibe. I don't really even remember the plot, just like the vibe of the book. It's very like dark, magical forests type of a book. But this is one that I'd love to read and also give to my younger siblings. I will definitely need to find the rest of the series though, but I've only ever really seen book 1 around, so I might have to get the rest of them off thrift books. And then the last 3 the books that I have are all for a video that I want to do sometime early next year of reading Nordic noir books. So I don't know a ton about these. They're all like crime novels of some sort, but the first one is The Hummingbird, and these are all from thrift books. And this one is basically, she's like starting her job as a detective in Finland, and her partner doesn't like her, but then there start being these killings that have something to do with Aztec gods or something like that. And so they're trying to catch a serial killer, and that's kind of the vibe. So again, I don't know a ton about this one. It will be in a video probably early next year, along with the next 2, one of which is Faceless Killers. This one is a Wallander book. I think this is book 1. I know that he's like a famous detective and there's like TV shows and stuff. My husband's seen at least one of them. And so I thought I'd choose this one for one of the countries that I wanted to read a book from. But this one sounds like it has to do with the killing of an elderly couple in their barn or something like that. And then there's something sketchy about her last words being foreign or something like that. And so then they're basically just trying to solve her murder, which is kind of the general plot of any crime book. But that's that one, Faceless Killers. And then the last one that I got for that video is The Legacy. And I think this one might be more YA. I'm not sure. It's definitely thick. It's like a old library one. But this one... Oh, this one's the one. I remember this one. You have like the main girl and she's a therapist for children or like a child advocate for kids who are getting put into the justice system. And then you have the cop who's trying to investigate a murder, and the only witness in the murder is like a 7-year-old girl. And so she gets brought in to be basically the child advocate to help this little girl that they're trying to interrogate to get information out of her. And so then she basically gets wrapped up in trying to solve this murder case because she's there with the little girl to make sure that they're not like going too crazy on their interrogation of the 7-year-old. And that's basically as much as I know. So I think she kind of has to team up with this cop she doesn't really like. They maybe have some history, and then they're trying to solve this murder. So that one sounds really good. I also think that this one is a series as well. So I do think there's like 2 or 3 other books after this one if I like it. Okay. That is my haul of books. I've got quite the stack. But I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I hope you're excited to see some of these books in upcoming videos. If you have read any of these, especially the ones that I have not read, which is the majority of these books, please let me know your thoughts down below. Or if you have any other suggestions, I obviously don't really need to be buying more books right now, but if you have any thoughts, suggestions, please let me know down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.